Hello, and happy Thursday Night Live. I'm your host, Dr. Rita Louise, and thank you all for joining the show today. I have to tell you, I'm a little bit scattered, but I had a extra super wonderful Thanksgiving, and I'm like barely, I don't want to say I'm not recovered, but I still have the after Thanksgiving glow going on. Um, and it's just been, I don't know, for me, really busy, really fun. And it's just been good. A little scattered, but my plate has been pretty full with different things. And so that's one of the things I'm going to be talking about tonight. Because there's a lot of people that I know that are very hesitant to, and I'm going to air quote this, give things a try. Um, so if you look, like I have stains all on me because this afternoon I was staining my dining room chairs. And I was staining my dining room chairs because, well, one chair broke and I fixed it. Right. I didn't fix it. I got help fixing it because I didn't have the right tools. But then I went and I recovered all the seats. And after I recovered the seats, I'm like, these chairs are all right. They were really dirty. And I'm like, but they're wood. You can stain them. They would look a whole lot better. So I went and stained them, and you might go, wow, you recovered those seats. It's like, okay, never did it before. Went on YouTube, watched a few videos, said, that doesn't look that hard. And the first one took me, I don't know, maybe about a half hour to figure out how to do the corners and not have like these things pointing out that looked awful. And then the rest of them, I did 5 chairs, bam, 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 done. And I'm like, wow. And it's really been a while since I've done any, and I'm going to say home improvement project, and the reason I'm even bringing this up is because, I don't know, I'm in this new phase. Hopefully it's in a new phase that I went and I looked at a house today that, okay, it would be a big project, but I kind of need a project house to work on. So I know it needs like a new kitchen, a new bathroom, because they're total gut jobs. And there's no sheetrock up on any of the walls, but all the walls have shiplap, like this 1-inch thick shiplap. And then there's where this bathroom kind of was, but there's no wall there anymore. And I'm not quite sure about that whole thing. So I'm not quite sure about that whole thing. But it would be a really fun project to work on. It would take me some time to do it. And, I would bring some people in to work on the project. But there's a lot of stuff that I can do by myself. And so, like not trying to be a brag here. If you've listened to this show before and you know me, I really kind of suck at it. But if you look at the picture behind me, so that's actually my formal living room at my house. I was like, hey, that actually looks pretty good. Maybe that'll become my new background image. And so the house that I'm living in now was a dump. It wasn't quite a gut job. Well, okay, I gutted both bathrooms, 3 bathrooms, and the kitchen. So maybe it was. It needed a ton of work. But I bought the house really super cheap. And granted, it took me 4.5 years to make it so that I would open the door and let people in because, they'd come in the house and then they want the grand tour. And it's kind of like, okay, well, that room's not done and that room's not done. And there's this really ugly carpet that was on the stairs that's not there anymore. but I wasn't going to take the carpet off the stairs because it was protecting the wood that was below the carpet, if that makes sense. But without really knowing what I was doing and just with getting some guidance from this guy about how to do stuff, I mudded and taped a bunch of this room. I floated, which means I covered every single wall with plaster and sanded it and plaster and sand and plaster and sand and painted it and cleaned up all the trim and blah, 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 blah. And here's the braggy part. And won first place in this old house home remakeover 2016 for the individual room makeover. And I'd never done this before. I just said, okay, well, you know, it needs to get done and I'm just going to do it. And I really had no clue what I was doing other than doing things that kind of made common sense to me. But I find, you know, I mean, I have a lot of friends that own homes or, you know, don't own homes, and they're just afraid to do things. They will hire someone to come in and paint. Painting is like so not rocket science. And once you start doing it, it becomes easier. You know, people will say to me, oh, well, do you tape around the windows and do you tape this and that? And I'm like, you know, I've painted enough in this house that I can actually just sit there with my brush and paint around the doors and paint around the windows and really not make a mess. Okay, I make a mess on myself. I have my painting panties, and you can basically tell every color that's been painted in this house because there's drips on it and my hands wiping on my legs, and they're my painting panties. And but there's so much information on YouTube these days that will give you an idea of what you need to do in order to fix something. You know, it's some things just make common sense. All right, to me, they just make common sense. Now, granted, I think everyone needs to identify what their limit is and where that stopping point is. Like, my garage is falling down and it is beyond my skill set. You know, I need my side porch leveled out beyond my skill set. You know, but I had my plumbing blow out because of a whole other story tied to it. And I just went down there and he just screwed it back together and was like, bam, done. Didn't have to call a plumber. I just went down there and screwed it. And it was all better. And so I'm just kind of putting it out there. I'm a girl. You know, there's a lot of women that listen to this show. There are guys that listen to this show. You know, I have dated guys that basically couldn't do anything, you know, but maybe it was more like they just chose not to do anything. I don't really know. But here's the bottom line. Here's the bottom line. It will save you a boatload of money if you would just sit there and figure out how to do stuff yourself. You know, like you can maybe find a handyman who will come and work for you for $25, $30 an hour. But if you're painting a room, let's say, it's going to take you, you know, depending on the size of the room, you know, 8 to 12 hours, maybe more to paint it with all the edging. And if you have to do the ceiling and blah, blah, blah. Well, think about how much money that is. When you can just get out there and get a roller, and even if you have to tape around the windows so you don't get paint on everything, that's okay, because a roll of tape is $5, you know, versus $30 an hour for him to tape everything up and then charge you for it. I don't know. It's just a me thing, you know. And so if this is resonating with you at all, you know, start with something simple. Start with something easy that you feel comfortable that you can accomplish, or, you know, like painting. I'm going to use painting because to me, that's just really kind of simple, other than spilling it on the floor and getting it all over yourself. If it doesn't come out good, you can just paint over it. It's kind of like coloring your hair. You know, if it doesn't look right, you can color it again. Or if you cut it too short, it's going to grow out. So that might be a good place to start, or other little projects around your house that might need doing, that you can look on YouTube and see if it's something that you can do, and then give it a try, because there's always someone that would be willing to take your money to fix it. Okay, so that's my topic for today. I don't know. I was kind of like, didn't really have anything. So this was all on my mind, and I thought I would share it with you. So I hope there was value. And I got a bunch of thumbs up. So that's all cool. Ooh, and there's like 30 comments. So let me do my little announcements, and hopefully I'm like, keep looking. It's like, okay, but my microphone is on. So that's good. Okay, so today's show is brought to you by soulhealer.com. That's my website where you can go to find out information about scheduling a private consultation, whether that's a medical intuition evaluation, intuitive counseling, or psychic reading, or getting some energy work done. Tons of articles. Please feel free to reach out to me, but check out the site. And with the holidays here, my schedule is much lighter. And so I do have openings and can probably get you in pretty quick. I mean, if I'm not staining chairs or doing something like that. Okay. So if you are listening to the show and looking for other places that it airs, and I did not put that on here, you can go to Dr. Rita Louise Live on Facebook. And so that's a group. And I have been posting a lot to that group. And so I don't take a whole lot of friend requests on my regular page. So if you want to hang out and join me, and, you have an event coming up, you're releasing a new book. I mean, I really want this page to be about sharing, but, that hasn't really been happening. But whatever, Dr. Rita Louise Live on Facebook. You can also hear the show at Just Energy Radio on YouTube. If you are on YouTube, please like and subscribe my channel. Sign up for the notifications, do all those YouTube-y things. And I did not add that on here. This show is also now streaming on Rumble. And I think my page is Rita Louise on Rumble, but I will have that for next week. So if you hate Facebook and really can't stand YouTube either, but you like Rumble as a platform, please go there and check out the show. Okay, and then two other announcements, and I think I announced this last time. My book, Avoiding the Cosmic 2x4, is now available as an ebook, where it was not before, and finding a copy of this is challenging because I hate Amazon, and they make it very hard to sell your own book that's not through some kind of distributor to them, or... long story, not going to go complaining, but it's now available in ebook. So please do go and buy that off of Amazon. And here's my extra super big announcement. My new book, Dang, It Was Me All Along, should be, okay, cross your fingers, put out good prayers for me, should be available for pre-order starting on Monday. That's my hope. I've been going through a lot of edits and little stupid things. It's like they send me the thing to review, and I look at it and I find a little boo-boo. And then I look, I resend it, and then I find another little boo-boo. So I'm on like round 3 or 4 right now. And so my hope is that by Monday, you will be able to pre-order this book. The release date is the beginning of February, but it will be available for pre-order now. Anyway, so let's see. So if you have a question, please post your detailed question in the chat box below. I'm going to go through, say hi to people, and then I will scroll back and respond to any questions people may have. Wow. So Marco's in the house. Hey, Marco. Hi, Amy. Miss Sin's here. I'm sure she has man questions. Sin, you can always ask a question. We have Christine in the house. Sin. Hey, Miss Veronica. Wait, I clicked on you. There you are. Hi, Miss Veronica. And Yvonne. Hi, Yvonne. Anton. Hi, Anton. Uh, okay, so I can totally not pronounce this. Yoti. I don't know. I'm just going to call you 2001 because I am just going to totally trash that. Okay, let's see. We have Margie in the house. Hey, Margie. Miss Wendy. Hi, Wendy. Uh, George. Hi, George. I will come back to you. We have Bria here. Hi, Bria. And that's everybody. Okay, I'm going back to the top and going to respond to any questions. So, Sin, you know you can always ask a question. All right. So, Sin said, just for tradition, what are just. You kill me, Sin. So, Sin wants to know, just for tradition, because Sin always asks about men. What are, I'm assuming it's Justin's current feelings and intentions toward me. Okay, Sin. Um, I mean, I feel like he's hanging in there. I feel like you haven't chased him away by being too much and too intense. You know, Sid, I almost feel like he a little bit intimidates you, or I feel like you're holding your energy closer to you when talking about this guy. So, you know, if I'm hitting there, let me know. You know, I feel like the dynamic between you and Justin is different than some of the other guys that you have brought up during the show. All right. So Christine says, my question is, what is, do you see my car accident case coming to an end soon? And what do you see for me and Jesse? Is this something that is a love or friendship connection? Okay, so Christine, that's kind of predicting the future. I'm going to take a look. So I'm not guaranteeing the results. How's that? All right, car accident case coming to an end soon. So my feeling is that they are going to try to drag it out until after the first of the year. So I'm assuming that that is not soon. I get the impression that there was some talk about having the case come up before Christmas, but I'm feeling like that's going to get bumped. So, you know, so I don't see soon as like in the next 2 weeks. I feel like it's going to be either way closer to Christmas or after the first of the year. Okay. What do you see for me and Jesse? Okay. So what do you see for me and Jesse? Is this something that is a love or friendship connection? Wow. Okay. So Christine, you know, I'll say it that way. I feel like there's an energy that is going back and forth between the two of you. So I can see what about that. Um, I feel like this could turn into a love thing. I'm also feeling like, all right, and I'm just going to say this very straight, that you tend to jump into relationships pretty quick and pretty easy, and then they end up not working out. And so I would like to suggest to you to maybe go a little slower this time. I get the impression that this guy is a nice guy, you know, and why mess that up if it can be something really good? Okay. So Veronica says, wow, awesome. I'm not quite sure about what, maybe about all the cool stuff that I've done. And we already said that. Okay, so 2001 says one family or two. So like I live in a one family house. The house I'm looking at is another one family house, way smaller than this house. So it wouldn't take me 4 years to get it done, which is good. Okay. Um, so Yvonne says, I was on a roll with stand up, got a very bad cold, which I'm almost over. Do you see me getting more in a groove with the stand up starting next week? Um, Yvonne, I'm not really familiar with that. I'm going to say modality. How's that? Um, I know that things tend to slow down more at Christmas. Um, so maybe you should take, I mean, if you get a couple of gigs, that's great, but maybe you should take a little time for yourself. I do feel like you're a little bit run down in general, and that it would be to your benefit to kind of use this as a pause that the universe kind of put on you to take a step back, reevaluate, see if you're still going in the right direction, so that when you can work on the plan and the setup on the back end, so that when so that you can either start pitching for next year, or when next year comes, you can hit the ground rolling. But I'm feeling like now's the time for you to plan again, work on that pitch letter, however it is you reach out to people, and massage your brand. And because I'm feeling like you're ready to take it to another level. And I think this would be a really good evaluation time. So let me know if that resonates with you, okay? So Marco says, Rita, Veronica, hi. And he says hi to Yvonne. What? Okay. So Marco wants to know, did I ever finish that house? So Marco, this is what I have left to do. I have the garage it's still standing, so that's good. And like it keeps stuff dry, so that's good. I have a glass side porch that needs leveling, and I think once it's leveled, the glass doors will close. So that's a project that needs doing, and it needs a new sill plate. And I have one piece of floor that the joist has dropped, not totally, but enough that I need to have that repaired. And the flooring in that room's kind of a mess, but I have a nice area rug on it. And did you know? See, this is how my mind is. So when I bought the house, there was carpet in that room, but it was disgusting. And I found out that any place I lifted carpet in this house, there was issues with the floor. And so I lifted that carpet, and half the floor had this gorgeous hardwood floor, like the rest of the house, and then half of it just had plywood that was sitting on the subfloor. Well, I wasn't going to get to that room since, like I was, again, if you saw the pictures, you would understand why that's a not done project. But I took a can of stain that matched the flooring pretty close, and I drew lines in it to look like hardwood flooring, like the seams between the flooring. And then I stained that whole carpet, or that whole piece of plywood, and then I urethaned it, threw an area rug on it. And so if you walk into that room, you can't really notice that there's plywood. I mean, if you really look, you would see, or if I point it out, but on first glance, people don't ever notice it. So anyway, so I'm getting there, but I'm looking at buying a project house to finance this house, if that makes sense. So Sin says, interesting. And Marco says, this guy equals me. Marco, not quite sure what that's about. I mean, unless you're going to come work on my house, I would let you. And then Margie says, the wood and trim is beautiful in the living room pick. I mean, Margie, this house is great. It's got French doors all over it, all original wood. I mean, it's a great historic house, and I love this house. So thank you. And now like the whole house is good, not just, this room. Okay. All right. So Veronica says, question about Candida. So Veronica and I were chatting, and I asked her to save this question for the live stream. Although we are talking about my house and, projects and stuff. Okay. So what does it mean to have systemic Candida? How long do I stay on an anti-Candida diet and yeast killers to get over it? Okay. And I think that's a great question. And I asked her to bring it here because it's kind of a long answer, but I also felt like it was something that a lot of people needed to hear. So I am going to talk about that now. So people that are unfamiliar with Candida, Candida is a fungal infection. So in women, the way it often manifests is as a yeast infection. That doesn't mean guys can't have Candida. In guys, it will often manifest as jock itch. And so if you look online, excuse me, they will suggest that you do a Candida cleanse. Well, actually, let me back up. So Candida is, a fungus, a bacteria that primarily lives in the large intestine. So when you eat a lot of sugary foods, when you take antibiotics, if you drink a lot of alcohol, if you eat a lot of carbs, it changes the environment in the gut. And the way I like to explain it is that, if you've taken probiotics and whatever, you have a healthy gut environment. And it's like having nice green grass on your lawn, and it's beautiful and fluffy, and you love walking on it. And then you take an antibiotic, and the antibiotic is like taking a giant thing of Roundup and spraying all of that grass. And so what happens? A little of the grass grows back, but you also end up with a whole bunch of weeds. And so if you don't do any kind of maintenance, you can end up with a gut full of weeds and not a whole lot of grass. And so when you do a Candida cleanse, it helps to get rid of the fungus, but also promotes the growth of the good bacteria. So that's in a generic sense of the word. However, there are a lot of people, so if you've taken doctors throw out antibiotics, like crazy, so if you have a history of antibiotic use, so I don't have a history of antibiotic use, but my family has a history of we're a carb-based family. I grew up in a carb-based family. And so if you have the things that support the growth of Candida in your life, and it's happened for an extended period of time, you can get something that's called systemic Candida. And the fungus can move out of just your large intestine into other areas of your body. And, I don't want to say it takes over, but kinda. And so it's a lot harder to deal with, and I really never gave it much thought, but then when I was in school, I learned about Candida. And so I decided I would do a Candida cleanse just because, and I was a carb junkie, so you could have a piece of chicken or a soft pretzel, like a nice giant soft pretzel. And okay. Well, I'm just going to keep talking to this screen. Power fan, are you going to come back online? Okay, so I'm having a little bit of a technical issue here on one of my computers. So I'm going to keep talking, and hopefully it will come back up online. Maybe. Anyway, so you can have the Candida in the gut. But if you do a Candida cleanse, it only takes care of a certain amount of the fungus that is in the intestinal tract and doesn't necessarily get rid of what is outside of the intestinal tract. And so it can be a lot more challenging to get rid of. So Veronica, you're asking, how long do I need to do this Candida cleanse? And my answer to you is, I'm going to say kind of forever. and maybe not the cleanse part. There's doing the cleanse for a period of time. And usually a traditional candida cleanse is for about a month, where you cut back on your sugar and, and carbs and alcohol and all of those offending foods, and do a cleanse, with either, a standard candida cleanse that you might find at the health food store, or, using something like oregano to get rid of it, oil of oregano to get rid of it. Excuse me. I'm sorry. I'm sitting here like doing a little computer fighting right now. But thank God my monitor is still working, and now Skype decided it needed to install. Okay. But the reality is that if you suffer from systemic candida, it's really something that you need to kind of pay attention to really throughout the rest of your life, because it's not necessarily going away. The fungus actually works its way into all of the tissues and organs. And so it is important to address it in that way. All right. I'm in StreamYard. Woohoo! So hopefully it's going to just let me right back in. Enter studio. Stupid thing. All right. What? Oh, enter studio. All right. All right. So hopefully my picture will come back and I can read the screen. So I think my hard drive is trying to die, and I'm just kind of like wishing and praying that I make it through Christmas. Okay. So to finish with you, Veronica, it is just something you're really going to need to monitor, and just pay attention to the carbs that you're eating. And, if you're taking antibiotics, working to repopulate the gut with probiotics and doing those kind of things, because that will keep the candida in the background. Even people that have not soiled their gut, think, well, I did this candida cleanse and the candida should be gone, but it really doesn't work that way. We're all prone to having candida grow in our guts. And so it's something that everyone should monitor throughout their lives. Okay. All right, going back up here. Wow, we got all kinds of people in here. All right. I'm sorry about the little issue here, and hopefully it will just keep working. That would be really good. All right. I'm just going to scroll down. Veronica says, Rita the Builder. Yeah, right. Okay. So George wants to know when I'm coming to Vicksburg. And George, I want to, but it's probably not going to be till after the first of the year, just because of the holidays, and it's crazy. Oh, and then George says, you're amazingly beautiful. That's because I love you, George. And you must love me because you think I'm beautiful. Thank you. All right. So Bria wanted to know, did I have an editor? Yeah, that would be me. And if you want a web page, that would be me. And if you want your house painted, that would be me too. All right. All right. So Marco, I want to hear. So Marco says, George, she is my girl. Wait a minute. Are you saying like me? I'm your girl, Marco? Oh, yeah, I bet you are. Okay, but you guys need to play nice, because George is a really good friend. He's a sister stewardess. So there. All right. And so Marco says pre-order. Okay, wow, great. Yeah, but you better get a copy. You better pre-order a copy next week. Oh, so 2001's name is Otto. Not that I ever would have got Otto out of that, but okay, Otto, I'm going to remember that. Okay. Marco wants to know any book signings. It's like, Marco, I don't even have the book yet. Okay, so Sin is holding back. I guess she has questions, more questions about more men. All right, so Bria says, will our house in Australia sell in 2024? Well, that's interesting. I'm wondering where your house is because I have some friends of mine or a client who is in, I want to say Chechnya, somewhere in Europe, Croatia, something like that. And they're looking at moving back to Australia. So you're a Facebook person. If we're Facebook friends, let me know because I can pass that information along and maybe it would be like a win-win-win-win-win for everybody. And I'm feeling like, yes, your house will sell in 2024. I mean, I feel like the energy in your house is good. I feel like it's priced appropriately. Okay, so they're saying to me that there's something there that needs to be fixed, but you're kind of like, well, maybe they just won't notice that thing, and you're carrying a little guilt about it. Fix the thing, and that will make it move faster because guilt can make things not move because you're not moving. And I feel like there's something there that you're not 100% congruent with. And once you're congruent with all of it, bam, it will go. Oh, Sin, what am I going to do with you? All right, so Sin's back with somebody else. Well, he's a new crush, and well, I'm trying to be nice at the same time. Oh, is this Justin guy, Jason guy? Okay, but that's good. That's good. Because Sin, he hasn't run away. And I feel like he has interest. And so let him be the man and let him move the thing forward. Okay. But patient, not overstep. Yes, ma'am. All right. So Jessica says, hey, Rita, I hope you have been doing wonderful. I apologize I haven't popped in more. I'm in my first year teaching, a lot of spiritual growth lately, like we have talked about. Yay, Jessica. And you're always welcome to come in here. If you're not in my group, Dr. Rita Louise Live, please join that group, and if there's interesting stuff going on with you, feel free to post it. Not necessarily, well, kind of self-promoting. I don't really care. So anyway, thank you for coming. All right, so Christine says thank you. So I'm guessing that made sense to her. Marco said hi. Marco said back hi. I hope you get millions. Otto says one family is easier to deal with building code wise. The city that I live in, I did so much work in this house, all new plumbing, all new electric, everything, and there has not been one permit pulled on this house. The code enforcement doesn't really enforce, which works for me. Now, hopefully they don't hear that and they come after me. So, okay, so Yvonne said the universe did put a pause on my activities. Exactly, Yvonne. So my suggestion is to use this time wisely, take a step back, look at the goal you put out there. I feel like there's some adjusting that you need to do with your message or how you're pitching yourself. It's not a huge one, but I feel like it's an important one. It's like a very little step to the left that you need to do. And then you'll move forward again. Okay, and then she says, I am ready to take it up a notch. Thanks, Rita. I know you are, and I feel like you are getting good response, from the places that you're performing at. And and just keep that up, keep that momentum up. But again, take this time to look at what you're doing and make some minor adjustments. And I think when you take that step back, they will become crystal clear to you. Okay, so let's see. Amy says, hey, Miss Amy, about a month ago, I did a QHHT, not sure what that is, hypnosis session. Left me a little confused about what was really coming out. It was my current beliefs, my higher self, or my truly aligning with my higher self. Okay. Okay, so, and this is my thought, is that when you're doing a hypnotherapy session, we are able to separate out, this is my higher self communicating with me, this is my guide communicating with me, and this is like my soul talking, this is my current beliefs or inner being talking. And so, but usually when you do a session like that, that is kind of the goal, or hopefully the goal, that you're able to uncover, your beliefs and modify them and then integrate so that you can be more in alignment, with source and your higher self. So hope that makes sense. I'm not quite sure about the question, but I hope that makes sense. All right, let's see. So Mark Eddy says, hi, Dr. Rita and roomies. Hi, Mark Eddy. Oh, man, this is just like making me crazy now. Now I got this thing that says, update now. And I'm like, no, I don't want to. All right, so let's see. Boy, man, the Facebook crowd is like going crazy tonight. They're all like talking to each other, or not Facebook, the YouTube people. So Carmen says hi. Hi, Carmen. Margie says, house sounds gorgeous. So Margie, my house, again, not trying to brag, but my house is the kind of house that you drive down the street and you point to and go, wow, that's a really cool house. I wouldn't mind living there. But wait, I do. But again, it was a dump. And it took me 4 years to make it be a place that I could allow people to actually walk in the front door without making 500 excuses for why it was a dump. And now I'm just really happy and proud to live here. So thank you. And Mr. Don is here. He said, I almost missed the show. Well, good thing you didn't miss it, Don. We would have missed you. All right. So Mark says, I met Bob Villa, if that would make me qualified to do work on your palace. I don't know, Mark. Do you know how to swing a hammer, like efficiently, or know how, Okay. So I dated a guy, he who shall not be named in case certain people are spying on me, swore he could swing a hammer, but not so much. Not when I have to go out there and supervise and go, well, maybe you should do this, or, this might be a better way of doing this. Yeah, not. Okay. So Marco says, I'll be at your house this weekend to work. Okay. I don't know. Do you know how to level a foundation or fix joists? Because those are like my garage, man, dude. If you want to work on my garage, you could stay here for like 2 weeks or a month. I'd let you do that. All right. So Don wants to know to do what? I don't really know, Don. All right. So Ziggy's here. Hey, Ziggy. Sorry to be late. Boy, you guys are so good. You're apologizing for being late. Wondering if dicritaceous earth might be okay too for cleaning the bowel. Used to be it, but got scared of it. Need probiotics, but don't like yogurt. Okay. I mean, that's a great question. So dicritaceous earth is often used to kill parasites, and also it's kind of like a charcoaly thing that will clean out the gut. You have to use it fairly sparingly. I know that in some cleanses, like the Arise and Shine cleanse, which is a hardcore cleanse, they use charcoal, activated charcoal, like powder, as part of their cleanse to kind of do that drawing process of the toxins that are in the gut. Um, to me, unless you're eating a good yogurt, like Dannon tends to still be okay. Um, Most yogurts that says, well, it has lactoacidophilus in it, but I don't trust it. Like Yoplait, I would never eat that because it looks like it is thickened with some kind of a thickening filler. And then you have to take into account how much sugar do they put in it. Like I'm allergic to dairy, so I don't eat yogurt, but they have like a vegan yogurt that you can get that has bacteria in it, but that stuff makes everything worse for me because there is so much sugar in it. It's crazy. And so, are you really getting any benefit from that? So there is actually a supplement. I mean, so you can get probiotics as a supplement. If you have milk issues or your body's having an issue with the probiotic, there is something, and please don't ask me to spell it, but it's called Sacrobiarty, which is a prebiotic. And so it supports the growth and formation of the good bacteria. So probiotics is actually you're ingesting the good bacteria, hoping that it's going to implant. The Sacrobiarty actually promotes the growth of the good bacteria that is in the gut, if that makes sense. So, okay. Okay, so Marco says, do handyman stuff. Well, Marco, talk to me in a few weeks because I might be buying this other house that it might be a really cool project. I need a project house, which is really scary to say that I need a project house, but I think this might be a good one. And there's all original, there's a word for it, but I can't think of it right this second. So hang on a second. I'm going to look up on my own phone here. Shiplath, that's it. There's original shiplath on every single freaking wall in there because they took all the sheetrock down, and I got to gut the kitchen, gut the bathroom. I think I'm going to enlarge the bathroom. I need to put in a couple closets. So it's going to be a project, but I think it's going to be a worthwhile, not super expensive project. And, so I'll have work. Anyway. Okay. So Anna, hi Anna, I don't know that I recognize you, so welcome to the show if you haven't ever been here before. So she said, do you see a romantic relationship with John? So Anna, I feel like you've noticed John. I'm not feeling the same kind of vibe being reciprocated to you. When I see something like that, especially in this venue, I have to ask, do you know each other? Ask Sin. She can tell you because, but I don't really feel like from his side that he has that light bulb has gone off. And so again, I don't know, do you know this person? Has there really been much encounter with this person? Because I'm not feeling a whole lot of interchange at this point. I'm not even going to read this, but there's a whole conversation between Marco and Don about coming over to my house. Yeah. So Marco, is it to work? Do I need to air quote that? To work? All right. So MNR34 suggested to Veronica, check Dr. Jennifer Daniels' talk on Candida and her suggested use of turpentine. claims it clears up most cases of candida and parasites, sharing so we can learn from each other. Okay, I have never heard that. I don't know that I would drink turpentine. Yeah, I would have to look into that. Okay, so Anna, I already answered your question, so I'm moving down. So Ziggy says, what are probiotics that are non-dairy? Uh, so the only one that comes to my mind is a product called Primal Defense. Okay, so probiotics can be, and this is one of the reasons that I do the sacrobiority, because if you're taking acidophilus, it's grown on milk, and most probiotics are grown on milk. And so even though they say that they're lactose free, if you have any kind of like milk issue or milk allergy, you're going to react. So Primal Defense is supposedly grown on a different substrate, but then you could do things like kimchi, and other fermented, like Asian fermented foods, because they are very high in probiotic. And I'm just trying to think what I was using. And so, so I was making non-dairy cheese, like it was a cashew cream cheese, and you had to make like ferment this liquid, and I can't remember what you put in there. It was like alfalfa seeds or some kind of seeds, and like you're doing a little planter, and you would put it in some water and let it just sit for a while, and that fermented, and what you wanted to have that fermentation process start, and I would drink that. And I wish I could remember. It's been a really long time since I've done that. So that's another way. But any kind of fermented food includes probiotic. But see, okay, so Ziggy says, man, you guys are just too complicated for me. So like the sacrobiority, which I'm talking about, is a prebiotic, because it supports the probiotic growth, where probiotics are actually the bacteria. At least that's my understanding of the two. Okay. So Dawn says, Dr. Rita, as you know, I've talked about this entity that is with me now and has been over 4.5 months. Believe me, it's real. But is there any way to be rid of it for good? Okay, so, dealing with an entity is really kind of challenging. Dawn, okay, so I'm just going to say this. One of my beliefs is that there's some reason it has attached to you. And I feel like you just keep giving it energy, and you think about it and you call it to you and you wonder if it's there. My suggestion is, because this really isn't the format to kind of dig deep into this, is that you contact me and schedule an appointment. I mean, that really is the best way of me helping you on a deeper level. Because just right on the surface, what I'm getting right now is that you give it energy, and that's what kind of keeps it tied, because there is this exchange going on between you. Okay, so Bria says houses in Mount Eagle. No clue. Not going to remember, like, once we're out of here, so please send me a message. I will forward that on. I know absolutely nothing about Australia. I have some friends that live in Australia that I would love to come visit. I did learn that the Kimberley region is like all the way across the country, and not a place that you can just drive to go visit, which I would really like to go, because they have the caves there with the Wojina figures, which I would love to go see. But apparently it's not buying anything. Damn it. Okay. Okay, Anna, so if you keep asking the same question over and over, so I gave you my reading about John, and that's the reading. I don't predict the future to say, oh, yeah, it's going to happen or not, because there are too many variables in there. Okay, so Jessica says, I feel the universe has forced me to face some hardcore lesson. Jessica, this year has been the year of freaking hardcore lessons, and I am ready to be lesson free myself. Learning to let go and embrace being on my own. Not easy when you are healing childhood neglect, narcissism, parent trauma. I am having progress. So to those struggling people, don't give up. You have to heal to grow, like Rita always advises. Thank you, Jessica. We've kind of talked about this on the show a few times about just how this year has been things being put into our awareness where we have to either address it, learn the lesson, figure it out, or be stuck and left behind. And so my hope is that people have used this time. And even the last 2 weeks, okay, so things really started getting crazy, like lesson after lesson in October. And I'm gonna blame it on the new moon. It was the new moon in Scorpio. So it was a Scorpio moon in Scorpio. That was freaking challenging. I cried for like a week. I'm not a crier. I cried for like a week. It's like, but a lot of good information came up that I got to acknowledge on a conscious level and make the decision to address them and change things so that I don't have to deal with that anymore. Because in order to have things to heal yourself, you have to make different decisions about what you're doing with yourself and with your energy. And if you're not listening to what is being brought before you, then you're never going to change and you're never going to find the happiness that you like. And oh, wait, that's kind of the point of my whole book. Dang, it was me all along. Thank you, Jessica. Okay, so Otto says he was a building inspector. All right, but don't turn me in. Okay, so Ziggy says, I'm trying to get rid of this cancer and pain, back, hips, etc. So I feel like I need to water fast and detox. I'm fat. I mean, I think that would be great. Ziggy, this just came to me, so I'm just sending it back out on the airwaves. Have you ever thought about like juicing, like, with an emphasis on the celery juice, but like, kind of a full spectrum, not fruit, but like a mix of fruit and vegetables with a hardcore vegetables, celeries, beet, greens, wheatgrass, to really give your body the nutrition it needs. I mean, there's all kinds of information online about juicing, and you would also lose weight if you're juicing, and dealing with candida, because sometimes weight will stay on you if the candida is in play. Oh, you guys, you're killing me. Sin, you're killing me. So Sin wants to know, how likely will Justin and I will date? Is he the right person? Since, whoa, you are right on the mark. So Sin, I say this over and over again, I don't predict the future. I'm going to say it this way. I feel like you guys are creating a good thing, so whether it turns into a dating thing or whether it turns into that you guys are just end up being good friends, I don't know that it really matters. I mean, I feel like, we were just sitting here talking about doing things differently and listening to lessons and trying new things. Sin, this has been a lesson for you to try going into this relationship a little bit differently. So whether it works out with Justin or not, personally, I don't really care because you are learning a lesson in I shifted my energy dynamics and this thing is evolving and kind of moving forward. And that's a good thing. Own that lesson, take that lesson and apply it the next time. Again, can't predict the future. I like where this is moving. I'm not feeling comfortable in saying, yeah, you're going to start dating. I like his energy. I like your energy with him, and I'm just going to leave it there. Just let him lead. Just let him lead. Okay. All right, so I'm going to read Jessica's thing because it's good. I've had some spiritual lessons forcing me to grow. Again, Jessica, this is the year of freaking lessons. Being on my own, finding myself, acceptance, and being brave enough to stand up for myself. And this year, if I was going to pick a word about this year, maybe two, but the bigger word has been all about boundaries. So many people I know have really been working on the concept of boundaries. What do I want? What do I need right now? And not in a like egotistical way, but in a self-loving, self-caring way. Oh shit, I'm like way over. Okay, I'm gonna fly through the rest of this maybe. All things that are hard when you are raised by a narc. It is hard to rewire, but you advise to grow, you gotta heal. To those healing, be grateful. Growing is hard, but it's so worth it. Amen, sister. Hey, Jessica, like I'm not going to remember, but I am going to be working on a new book. Reach out to me and just say it's about the Dumb Girl Club, and you might be a good person to talk to about that. Okay, so Mr. Beast Truth Seekers just came in, but I'm going to be going. All right, Ziggy says HQHAT is quantum healing hypnosis technique. Okay. All right. Okay, so Ziggy. So what Veronica? Okay, you're both on YouTube. So Veronica put S Biardi, so that's how you can find it. But it's Sacrobiardi. Don't ask me to spell it. Veronica did. So not that Ziggy. What Veronica put. S Biardi. All right. Ew. Otto says Yoplait has cornstarch as thickener. Well, that makes sense just based on how it looks. All right. Veronica says plain Greek yogurt. If you're going to eat yogurt for the probiotics, then that would be it. Okay. So Jessica, I would love to handle this, but I'm already like running over. I'm just... I'm going to go for the people that came like really late. I mean, no offense, come earlier next time and I'll get to your questions. I mean, usually I'm like out of here at 8 o'clock, but obviously I'm not, but I'm going to go now. So if you would like to schedule a private consultation, so if we're talking here and when I do these readings, I really kind of just scratch the surface. And if you're needing more and deeper information, please do reach out and schedule a private consultation. You can catch me at soulhealer.com. Again, my Facebook group is Dr. Rita Live on Facebook. On YouTube, you can find me at Just Energy Radio on YouTube. I think I'm Rita Louise on Rumble. My book, Avoiding the Cosmic 2x4, is now available at ebook. And, drumroll please, my new book, dang, it was me all along, should be available for pre-order next week. So because you love me, you're going to pre-order a copy because it's good. Anyway, so until next week, I'm Dr. Rita Louise. This is Thursday Night Live. I will see you all next week. Be blessed.